So I just watched the Adventures with Purpose video. I'm still kind of sick, and you're going to hear things like that in the background. I watched it twice. I thought it was beautifully done and emotional, and I gathered some things from Facebook groups about Kiely Rodni's disappearance, and I also have a couple of things from YouTube that I'm going to share. But first, I'm going to play the first clip of the AWP video, and then I'm going to talk about it. So here we go.
Has some information in regards to the Kiely Rodni case. So why don't you explain a little bit about what you may have run into?
So my name is Nick. I work at an emergency roadside assistance program. I got a call up in Truckee, Boca, for a battery call. So pretty much that means that the vehicle can't start. So I went en route up there, found the vehicle. At the time, I didn't realize that this was a situation until later on. But
let me stop you right there. Yeah. You said you went to Boca.
Yes, sir.
So over near Boca Lake.
Yes, sir.
So not Prosser Lake, Prosser Creek Lake.
It's right by Prosser Creek.
Yeah, so just north. So you went to Boca.
At first, when I went there.
Okay, after I saw that he was at Boca when he encountered who he believes is Kiely, I remembered that the Facebook group, and I'm going to post a map screenshot I got from that Facebook group, says that Boca is where the black tank top was found. Whether or not it was a bodysuit hasn't been confirmed, and whether or not it's Kiely's has not been confirmed. But coincidence maybe, but I thought that was interesting to note.
After my test that, everything was working great on the vehicle. At that point in time, I did notice that she was very hesitant and very skeptical on everything that was going on. She was asking me really weird questions, in the sense of, how do you put on your seatbelt correctly? And and she asked me to show her on how to connect it to her actual belt. After that, she was stating on how she was there all night and she couldn't get her vehicle started due to the fact that now we both realized it was in neutral. She was wearing a sweatshirt, so it looked like she has been there for quite a while.
What color was the sweatshirt?
It was a gray sweatshirt.
Gray sweatshirt. Was it dark gray or light gray?
It was light gray.
Okay.
Yeah. Also, there was a guy there that was with her at time being. He was wearing a black San Francisco flat top ball cap facing forwards, brown hair that's sticking out just a little bit on the sides.
Okay, so what we can take from that is, yes, it's very coincidental that Jagger had the same hat on. However, I've gathered that a lot of people, or guys from California, everybody has a San Francisco hat. So that could just be a coincidence. Now, whether or not it was, Ellie knows who the identity of the man that was with who the tow truck driver believes to be Kiely is. So maybe on the news he just didn't mention that he'd spent the day before the party, not the day before the day of the party, but before the party with Kiely. All he said was that he wasn't at the party. Now, if he was with her the morning after she came up missing, that's something to talk about. But either way, law enforcement hasn't said that. So it's just a waiting game for now. And I don't believe that we need to start raising our pitchforks and attacking him online. I'm going to share a snapshot from Amanda Esvita's video later that shows that he's going to be taking a break from social media. So like Sammy, I guess he's going to not be posting for a while. She deleted her entire Instagram, so there's that, but just noted. So here's Jagger's post. It says, "Why does everyone always need someone to blame? I'm taking a break from social media until you guys start to use your heads." And apparently the caption related it to AWP's video release, that he's taking a break.
Think that this took place? Was it before, during the day, after she disappeared?
To be honest with you, it's either right after she disappeared or right before she disappeared.
Okay.
But it was around noonish, 11 o'clock in the morning when I got out to her. During that period of time, after the period, I told her that I was going to leave and I hope you have a great day. Vehicle, I told her to keep it running for a couple of hours to obviously make sure everything's working good on the vehicle, charging system-wise. At that point in time, then I left, and then a week later is when I saw at a coffee shop that she was gone.
You saw this on a flyer or something?
Yeah, but then everything spiraled out of control, and I got in contact with the detective and tried to do everything I could, and then I saw you guys.
Now we know we probably have a tie to Boca, which was already on my radar.
So hearing him say either the female looked hungover or was in a state, she could have just been hungover or tired or was nervous. How the switching of the male and the female was bizarre to me. I was hoping that if it was the day after the party, she's not in some kind of trauma days or something. Either way, asking how to use the seatbelt and having called AAA. The fact that her nor the guy she was with had figured out the car was apparently in neutral, which I saw a YouTube video come out. I don't know if he debunks that, if the car can start in neutral or what that was about. I probably should have watched it so that I knew. I'm gonna go watch it. And it's actually just addressing whether or not the tires could be spinning when they're retrieving the vehicle. And I'm gonna actually clip part of that video at the end of this after I show the car being towed out, because that answers some questions as to whether or not it really matters if the car was in neutral or not. Well, actually it doesn't answer that question, but it tells us that the wheels will free spin if it's in neutral. So there's that. Now I'm gonna play the next part of the AWV video.
You were digitally dispatched. Did you call them to say you were coming, or you just showed up?
I did call and nothing went through. It went straight to voicemail.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you know if she had a phone on her at the time?
She did state that her phone was dead.
Her phone
and
was
so
dead.
she used whatever guy, whoever this was, she used his phone. So that's how she did get in contact.
And what was, you mentioned like she was asking funny questions and acting weird.
Granted, I at the time I didn't realize again that.
Yeah. I mean, I've been in the towing industry my whole life, so you see a lot of crazy stuff, a lot of weird stuff, and it's actually pretty normal. You know. So I can see why at the time it's just a normal call.
She kept on going over that, like, how do you like, you know, secure your seatbelt firmly and like do it correctly, and that's when
she was asking this, was the guy that she was with right there too?
He was on the opposite side of the car.
So he could hear the conversation as well?
Every single time the guy would come over to us, she would go on to the other side, and it was just like a back and forth, like a tag team. Better to say, like one person would come over, she wouldn't stay near him, and then it would go vice versa. Or if we were at the front of the car going about the battery and talking about the battery, he was always on one side, she was on another. They were never close to each other.
She was uncomfortable.
Right.
Yeah. Because that screams awkwardness and someone being uncomfortable. And when in that scenario, if he was there with her, he should have been right next to her. If not dealing with you the entire time and not her. Did she seem high or intoxicated or?
I thought that maybe she was either hungover or just had a.
So after watching that again, I came to the conclusion that yes, it's odd behavior that the male and female were going back and forth and say whomever that man has nothing to do with her disappearance. If it is Jagger, then I can see how he probably is in fear that people are going to automatically assume he was involved with her disappearance, even if he wasn't. So I just hope people aren't automatically jumping to that conclusion. We'll find out eventually, I hope. I'm sure Ellie, like I said, I know that they've identified the man, and they have footage of it, so we're gonna have to have trust in them to figure that out and not be too emotional with our opinions about it. So the next part I'm gonna play is it's gonna fast forward to the retrieve. Oh, and it also confirms that her phone really was dead. I don't understand why, if she had her car, if it was the morning after, why she didn't charge it in the car. But obviously there were some conflicts going on with her starting her car. I know that he tells her to let it run in park to charge up the battery in case any of it was used from them trying to start it and stuff. So that's confirmation that her phone was likely dead if it was the morning after. Now, it could be the morning of the party. It sounds as though, and when he's asked, his GPS verifies he was there both Friday and Saturday, and it doesn't look like he really wants to answer to which day it was, but I get the feel he thinks that it was likely Friday, which was the day of the party.
Actually, there was a perfume bottle that was in the center console, and that was all that I recall, to be honest.
Did she have anything on her keys at all?
I don't remember.
Did you say that you guys have cameras that could possibly get some sort of facial recognition on?
Yeah. So we do indeed. We have cameras facing front and rear of our vehicles, as well as we do have like audio, so we could pick up audio from inside and outside of the truck. So we did have that, and I'm guaranteed, I mean, my vehicle is facing directly towards hers, so, and that's how I normally do it for my protection.
What's the window you're giving us of when this happened?
Either Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, I believe. Because the weekends I usually cover Truckee, so, and that Friday I also worked in Truckee, so, yeah.
If you were to make a bet on what day it was, what would you say?
I mean, when I was looking back under my GPS, under my phone and where I've been, I was there both Saturday and Sunday, farther in.
I got a jankety tripod. I would have to assume if he does have dash cam footage, then they've confirmed which day it is, and they just haven't released it to the public, so that's that.
She's in the back of the vehicle.
Okay.
She's not in the driver's seat. It looks suspicious to me.
Yeah.
Vehicle's upside down. Some of the one window is halfway down. One window is all the way down. Whew. Call the authorities.
I feel bad for that guy because earlier in the video, he talks about how he's going to bring Nick along. It'll be great training. I don't think they actually expected to find the car, and then he ends up having to do the recovery or the identification when they're probably, well, they are used to doing cold cases, and not something that would be the site of only 2 weeks along. So I'm gonna say prayers for him and his family. And then the next part is clearing up any questions about contacting the family, and we hear exactly what they did from his mouth.
We help families all across the nation, and when we find out, they are notified first. So we're going to notify them first. My very next call will be to local authorities.
So in my opinion, that clears up any confusion about who was called first, who wasn't called, so on and so forth. The next part is just something I thought was interesting and obviously very sad, was Kiely's father questioning how they'd missed it. I know we all know that they had said they searched it 3 times, and I just hope with how many bodies of water we see are in that area that they are better trained for that kind of thing.
Right there with the red thing?
Yes, sir.
How in the could they have missed it?
That's impossible.
And in our investigation coming into this, this is just what we do. We find vehicles underwater. We specialize in it. I don't know what you guys know, and we don't always know the why. We just try to find the where, and that's why I can't relate with whatever you're speaking on right now.
Is the car upside down?
The car is upside down, but that's common when a car goes into water because the wheels make it buoyant.
And the windows are closed, probably.
All of the windows except for one. Yes.
One's halfway down.
Which one?
One's all the way down.
So Nick is my diver.
Which window's up or down?
The what was it?
Driver rear.
Driver rear was down, and the passenger rear was halfway.
Is she seatbelted in?
No.
So I also included that, not that it's really easy to watch at all, but because from him going around the car and him speaking to the dad, it just gave me more confirmation about what windows were broken and what ones were up or down. And I went and I took screenshots and I labeled each one so that we can take note of what windows were broken, which weren't, what were up, what were down, so on and so forth. These are the screenshots I took of the windows when he was going around the vehicle, and here's the plate. Obviously the rear driver's side window was half down, And that's what we're seeing here. And I see what appears to be cigarette butts, in my opinion, in the window sill. And then we see the passenger window has been broken out, and you see her belongings, a hairbrush, a Truly can, a charger. The rest of the windows, to my knowledge, were up.
Jared is asked the question, was the car in neutral? And they had come to the determination that it must have been because the wheels were free spinning when the car was being towed out of the water. I'm a retired ASC master technician that has rebuilt many of those transmissions. And in fact, I spent quite a few years of my career as a service manager in a Honda dealership. The 2013 Honda CR-V is equipped with a centric style automatic transmission torque converter clutch that will allow the transmission to free spin in any gear when the engine is not running. Doesn't matter what gear it's in, if the engine's not running, the tires will free spin. You can push the car. The only time that the wheels would not spin with the engine not running would be in park. But if the car was in drive, if the car was in reverse, if it was in first, the wheels would free spin if the engine's not running. And this can be confirmed by anybody that owns a Honda CR-V that just takes the time to shut the car off while it's in drive and then see if you can push it, because I guarantee you can. It'll free spin just like it's in neutral.
And I'm going to conclude with this next part, Kiely's mom, just to remind everyone what's most important about all of this.
Just graduated high school at 16 with high honors. She's so intelligent and beautiful and just such a kind and wonderful person.